Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I got some matches here from a tournament that I just completed. This tournament is an Open Great League draft, so anything goes, but every Pokemon can only be used once by any person in the entire tournament. So as you can see here, we have a list of all the Pokemon we chose. We went person by person picking what we wanted for our teams. So we ended up with a lot of really unique teams, a lot of unique picks that you probably wouldn't see normally in the Great League or at all sometimes. This tournament was really fun, but also a little weird because there were a lot of things here I went up against and that I used that I never have before, and we didn't really do a lot of practice for this either. We kind of just went into it and hoped for the best, but it was a lot of fun and I hope I get to do it again. If you'd like to see the actual drafting of these teams, you can check out Kaiser Niner's Twitch channel. It'll be up there, I'll link it in the description. So for my first match, I'm playing Cardmaker JD, and looking at her team, I can see right away that we have 3 water Pokemon there. So that immediately tells me I need to bring Victreebel, and that Razor Leaf will take down the Azumarill, Lapras, Politoed very easily. I also see that there is a lot of weakness to fighting here, the Lapras, the Glaceon, and the Magnezone, so I should probably bring Machamp as well. Now Victreebel and Machamp are both going to be really weak to Glade's Confusion, so to cover that I'm going to bring Lugia, and the whole idea here is to have Lugia take out the Glade if she brings it, and then just finish up with the other 2. So here we go with round 1. Like I was saying before, Lugia is my bet against Glade. I'm leading with Lugia, and I run into Politoed here, and I'm not really sure how this matchup goes, but she switches out into Lapras, and I know I probably want to get out of there because it's got Ice Shard. So I switch into Machamp, which will deal super effective damage to Lapras, and I knew this was something small. It was Surf, still does a lot of damage to Machamp because it's pretty glassy, but Cross Chop being 35 energy is super quick to get off. Does a decent amount of damage. So I take out that Lapras real quick, left with a little bit of health, see what comes in, and Glade comes in and it completely annihilates my Machamp. But this is perfect because now we're both on a switch timer and I can set that Lugia up against the Glade and take it out. Now, I was pretty sure that this was a Leaf Blade. I was counting the confusion, so Lugia can definitely take that. I think it could even take a close combat, but not too sure. So switches out with the Glade. I know I need to save my Lugia for that Glade later. I switch into Victreebel, which will take out Politoed very easily. I probably didn't need to shield that, but I wasn't sure if it was a Blizzard, which would have hurt Victreebel a lot. So I shield it, which is okay, I still have another shield. Knowing that it's still a Surf, I take out Politoed without another shield, and in comes the Glade, which I'm just going to let take out the Victreebel because I know I have my Lugia in the back to take care of it. The Leaf Blade doesn't even take out the Victreebel though, and a couple Razor Leafs in knock us both out, but I still have Lugia in the back, so I take the win for the first round. And note also, this is before the changes to Season 2 where you have to play 3 matches every time, so we still just did best 2 out of 3 for all of these. So in the second round here, I came in with Victreebel, she came in with Politoed, switched out to Glade, I switched into Lugia, and now I'm pretty much set for the rest of the game. I know that I can tank whatever she's going to throw out here, even if it's a close combat and barely does any damage because of Lugia's typing. And I'm just going to farm it up, knowing that I can handle all these charge moves here. And I opted to go for X-Sensory on Lugia. I think it was better for what I wanted it to do in this cup. So in comes the Magnezone, which is definitely going to not be good for Lugia, but I'm just going to unleash all these charge moves that I've stored up on it, which really wouldn't do that much damage, but I still get a shield out of it anyway. So I come in with Machamp, which is going to do a ton of damage to Magnezone, and going to block whatever comes in here, because even a Wild Charge would probably hurt Machamp a lot. Now we're even shields, I have either charge move ready to go, Politoed comes in, I'm just going to nail it with a Rock Slide. Not sure how much damage that'll do, but it definitely does a decent chunk after a bit of lag. Blocks it anyway, having a little bit of lag there. shouldn't be a big deal. I'm not too worried about it. I get Earthquaked. Didn't see that coming. But it's okay, because I got Victreebel in the back here to just Razor Leaf down the Politoed and block whatever charge move it has coming. And that's a good game. So for round 2, I'm going up against Friar Rock, another top trainer here in Connecticut. We've played multiple times throughout Season 1, and he has a very interesting team here. I know that my Lugia would do well against a lot of his team, including Venusaur, Breloom, Banette, and even Sableye to a certain extent. And I also am going to bring Haunter to maybe cover some of those ghosts, and then I also brought Victreebel to cover that Tentacruel, which I didn't seem to have too great of coverage for anyway. So let's see how that goes. So here we go with the first round. Lugia in first, like I said, because it covers a lot. Now he brought out Golbat, and I know that I could definitely take a Poison Fang, but what I don't want to get hit with is a Shadow Ball, because that is definitely going to hurt. So here, not too sure what to do. Ends up being a Shadow Ball. I wasn't counting, of course. But Lugia is still pretty tanky, so it can take one. I get this Sky Attack off, and he tanks it as well and does a good amount of damage. So we're just going to knock each other down here. I end up coming out on top with a full Sky Attack ready to go. Just going to hit whatever comes in with it. And it happens to be Sableye, so he takes that as well and does a decent chunk of damage. He takes out my Lugia with Sableye, and I come in with Haunter. Looking back, I definitely should have come in with Victreebel, because whatever attacks he throws out are really going to hurt Haunter. But I thought that maybe I could just take it down with Shadow Claw, which I did barely. But of course he's got 2 shields, so whatever's coming in here is definitely going to block it. I should have just gone for the Shadow Ball, but it wouldn't have mattered because he blocked either way. Luckily I get 2 off and cause him to either shield or take the hit. Ends up taking the hit, which is probably best case scenario for me, so I'm not looking too bad. And I come in here with Victreebel, and I know that I have 1 shield and I need to block a Sludge Bomb. So I thought here he would be going for a Frenzy Plant bait, but I was very wrong, and I got hit with the Sludge Bomb. So I desperately go for the Leaf Blade, and he has another charge move ready to go. And if I had just guessed the bait correctly, I definitely could have won this one, but instead I totally messed up and I ended up losing by just a little bit of health. Go to the next match here. And leading with Lugia again, leads with Golbat again. We know how this played out last time. Let's see how it changes. He decides to switch out immediately into Sableye, and I farm up a bit, and I come in with Haunter, but he has such an energy lead now, this is not going to go well like it did last time. I should have came in with Victreebel, I think, and it would have maybe been a different story. So I get this Shadow Punch off before he kills me, and he blocks it and takes me out before I can do pretty much anything else. I'm going to come back in here with Lugia and launch the Sky Attack I had built up off. Blocks it as well. But now I'm starting to look at trouble because he's just going to fire off all these charge moves, burn my shields. And yep, yeah, it's pretty much over now. So I definitely should have come in with Victreebel first in the first place, seeing how much Razor Leaf does to Sableye. It could have been in a much better spot, but now up against Golbat, and well, this is gonna hurt. Even the Poison Fang does a lot of damage. And I know it's over, so good games again. I lose round 2, so far I'm 1-1 in this tournament. For round 3, my opponent is Mojoka, and I see right away he has a Bastiodon. I'm going to bring Machamp to cover that Bastiodon because it scares me. And I'm also going to bring Klang for the first time this tournament because it seems to cover a lot of good things here. It does pretty well against Ludicolo, does well against Blastoise, does well against Scyther. And mind you, I only have 1 move on my Klang, which is Thunderbolt, but it should be enough. The other move it had that you might pick would be Flash Cannon, which didn't seem all that useful, even though it could be useful for Clefable in this round. So I got Machamp and Klang, and also I'm going to bring Victreebel to cover the Ludicolo and would also cover Blastoise. So here we go. Victreebel versus Scyther. It's probably not a good matchup, so I'm going to try to bail out of here. Come in with Clang, which will do super effective damage to the flying type. It comes in with Clefable, and I don't think it's the best matchup here, but I am just going to spam away these Thunderbolts because I'm locked in anyway, and it does a decent amount of damage. So I'm just going to keep going for these Thunderbolts, knowing he's got Charm, so any charge move he has is going to take a while to get to. Shields 1, which is good for me. Now, I want to save this Clang for the Scyther, because I know I'm definitely going to need it, because my Victreebel and Machamp are both weak to flying attacks. So keep going with the Thunderbolts, trying to do as much damage as I can, get this Clefable out of here. And I do, which is very nice. Comes in with a Raichu, and I come in with the Victreebel to do some quick Razor Leaf damage before he can switch out. He comes in with Scyther, most likely a flying move, or a bug move too. And now I'm locked in here again. I'm going to do as much damage as I can to the Scyther. Leaf Blade doesn't do a ton, but these Razor Leafs do chunk a lot of things. No more shields left. I'm going to let this go through, because I have to. And come back in with Clank and just try to farm this last little bit. No luck there. He gets one more charge move off, which is unfortunate. Clank survives by just a little bit, and I have a charge move ready for what's coming in next, which is great. And Raichu is so glassy that even the electric attack will do a decent amount of damage to it. So now I come in with Machamp, and I just did a couple more counters to kill this thing. I'm expecting a wild charge, but it's a Brick Break, even better. He has 2. A wild charge and a Brick Break, which will take out the Machamp, which is very unfortunate. I thought I had it there. All I needed was maybe 2 or 3 more counters and it would have been good. Not sure what I could have done different in that. Maybe not block that X-Scissor in the beginning with Victreebel and save that shield for later might have helped. Either way, we go on to the next match. Whenever we decide to start. So Clank versus Bastion, this is not good. It's not going to be good at all. So I got to get out of here. I guess I don't want to switch into Machamp and have him hard counter my Machamp. So instead I switch to Victreebel, which I know will do okay against Bastion, but he switches out anyway. So now I know I still have my Machamp from his Bastion comes back in, and I can do decent against this Scyther with the Victreebel. If I could have got to a charge move, it would have been nice. Luckily, I survived with a little bit of health and can get this Sludge Bomb off, which will cause him hopefully to burn a shield, or maybe will knock out the Scyther. If he doesn't shield, it knocks out the Scyther. I barely have any health on the Victreebel, so he can't farm it too much. But now, we're both switch locked for another second, so I come in here quick with Machamp to try to get some counters off and try to get this cross chop. Luckily, I can get it before the switch timer comes back up, and I nail him with this, but he blocks it. He switches out to Clefable, I switch into Clank. I know that the Thunderbolts do a decent amount of damage to Clefable, and it's going to take a while for it to get off that charge move. So like before, I'm just going to spam these Thunderbolts and hopefully maybe burn the last shield on this Clefable. I need to block whatever this is. Even though it's a Meteor Mash, not sure how much damage it would have done. But I wanted to keep the Clank healthy to get maybe at least 2 more Thunderbolts off. So now he comes in with Bastion, and the Smackdown's not going to do a ton, but his Flamethrower will definitely do a lot of damage. So I'm just going to chip away at him as much as I can, and he knows he's going to have to unleash a charge move here, or else I'm going to get off another Thunderbolt and kill him. So he lets that off, it kills the Clank, and I come in and should just be a couple counters from Machamp, and it's GG. The key there that helped me out was not switching into Machamp the first time when he led with Bastion. If I had done that, he would have come in with Scyther and would have killed my Machamp, and then I would have had to do Victreebel versus Bastion with no shields later and would have got a Flamethrower to the face. So here we go again on the third match of round 3, and it's Clank versus Ludicolo. Not 100% sure how this match goes, but I know that Thunderbolts aren't going to feel good for Ludicolo. So I let What off, he blocks it, I switch to Victreebel to counter, he comes in with Scyther. And I'm going to be blocking these things that come in. I probably didn't need to block that, but I did anyway. He'll probably get maybe one more off, but I get the Sludge Bomb, and he knows from last time that this is going to hurt, so let's see what he does. He blocks it. He's no shields, I'm one shield, but he's definitely going to get another charge move off here. And I think I'm just going to let it go through, so I can come back in with the Clank and get some energy, but he has another charge move ready to go. I'm pretty sure I can tank this, so I try to, and it's not too bad, but still he might get another one off. I'm thinking about launching it, and I end up not, so he gets another off. I'm going to shield it and then just farm down the rest of the energy. Hopefully he doesn't get to anything else. So I have a decent amount of energy built up here. He has no shields, and I'm just going to start launching the Thunderbolts off at whatever comes in. I expect him to have a charge move ready to go. He was smart and held on to it and didn't let it go. I was going to have Machamp tank it, but it didn't go so well. So now I have Machamp versus this Clefable, and Charm is going to do a ton of damage. I get a Rock Slide off, which does a good amount, but it's not enough to kill it or anything. Come back in with Clank and launch this Thunderbolt so that it can't get a charge move off. It kills the Clefable, but then he has the Ludicolo in the back with the move ready to go. We were so close. That Ice Beam, even though it's not very effective, is going to be enough to kill the Clank. So for round 4, our opponent is Dr. Deoke. He was the Season 1 regional champion in Connecticut, and he was lucky enough to get Skarmory and Alola Marowak on his team, as well as some other pretty good Great League picks. And so first off, I'm very worried about Skarmory. I'm going to bring Clank just to counter that. And I'm also going to bring Relicanth to counter Alolan Marowak, as well as kind of counter Nidoqueen and, you know, kind of counter Meganium. Depends on who has the energy lead and whatnot. And I'm also going to bring Machamp to cover the Magneton and kind of cover some of the other stuff too. Match 1, we got Clang on the lead with his Purified Dragonair, so it might have Return is what I'm guessing, and the Dragon Breath is gonna, you know, end up doing a lot of damage in the end. And here I'm expecting an Aqua Tail or Return. I can probably take either of them. Definitely Aqua Tail. I'm gonna launch these Thunderbolts off, and I believe that's neutral damage. Oh, it's not effective, sorry, but still does a decent chunk because Dragonair doesn't have that much bulk anyway. But these Dragon Breaths are really taking me out, so I want to shield to save this Clank's health, and I build up a charge move and switch out quickly into Relicanth, who would be able to tank any Aqua Tails easily. He switches to Meganium, which is not the best matchup for me, but I can launch these Ancient Powers. Hopefully he can get a buff. It'd be really nice. I don't get it on that one, and now I'm not in the best of spots. So this could be a Frenzy Plant, maybe it's an Earthquake. Either way, it would kill Relicanth. I'm going to block it and get off this last charge move, hoping he thinks it's an Ancient Power. And I get that bait successfully, and to burn one of his shields, and I'm just going to try to do as much damage as I can. He tries to farm me down, but I end up getting another Aqua Tail off, which is pretty nice. He also blocks that again, thinking he might be an Ancient Power, or maybe he just wanted to save his energy. Now I'm going to come in with Machamp, and I know that there's going to be a charge move coming my way, for sure. It's a Frenzy Plant, which still does a ton of damage. And so I counter down the Meganium, but he's still got 2 more Pokemon in the back. The Dragonair comes in with a full charge move ready to go. It will definitely kill the Machamp regardless of what it is. I come in with the Clank and launch my charged up Thunderbolt from before. But still he has 1 whole Pokemon in the back, and I don't know what it is. So I definitely am in trouble here. I launch the Thunderbolt. It's a Skarmory. This couldn't be any better. But that Thunderbolt won't kill. I just need to get to another one. And look how close I was. 1 fast move away from getting the win on that one. But that's okay. So we'll go into the second match of round 4 here. Leading with Machamp this time. I was hoping he would lead with the Magneton, and I caught him. He switches out immediately to Alola Marowak. I switch immediately into Lugia, which I changed it up, by the way, because I wasn't liking Relicanth's performance in the last the last day match. I predict that correctly and do not shield the Bone Club, which is great. I go for a Sky Attack, which he blocks, and we're just going to keep going at this because we're both locked in here. I'm going to decide to shield this one, scared it might be a Shadow Ball, but I fall for the bait and get Bone Club shield. He has another charge move, a few attacks after that. It is a Shadow Ball. I get annihilated with a full charge move. Not the best. So now I'm stuck. Do I go Clank or do I go Machamp? I decide to go Clank. And I'm not really sure how this matchup plays out. Like I said, this is the first time I ever used this Pokemon in Great League at all. And he does a nice switch there to end up tanking this Thunderbolt with Magneton. Magneton's so glassy though, it still does a ton of damage, and I can just jump in with Machamp and counter down that Magneton easily before it gets a charge move off. I go for the Cross Chop here. Should have done Rock Slide, but I was trying to get that last shield there and he didn't want to give it. I probably should have done Cross Chop again because it would have killed or taken the shield, but he shields it anyway. And I just try to do as much damage as I can here before he gets off his Shadow Ball, I'm assuming. Correct. So now I come in with Clank, and I'm going to end up taking a Bone Club here, I believe. Yep, and it's super effective, doesn't do a ton of damage because Bone Club is a garbage attack. I luckily am able to farm it down with Thunder Shock, and I have a Thunderbolt ready for go for Skarmory again. Now this is very similar to what happened last time, but this time I have much more health going into it. I can get to another Thunderbolt here, and that's definitely going to be a GG. So I was kind of lucky there that I chose to go Machamp into the second switch instead of Clang so that I had it for later. Now, I brought Relicanth back because I wasn't thrilled with how Lugia did, so immediately went into a terrible lead, switched to Machamp to do what I can do, and try to get some of these Cross Chops off. They're very spammy, they do a decent amount of damage. I get it before he switches out, and Nidoqueen comes in. I'm just going to spam Cross Chop as much as I can, and probably block the first move that comes out of Nidoqueen. I'm hoping to get a shield here, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm debating, and I just let the Machamp go down. And I come in with the Relicanth knowing it'll do good damage. I get the Switch Lock animation, but that's okay, because I wasn't ready for a charge move anyway. Earth Power comes in, which would definitely hurt, but I need to faint down this Nidoqueen with Water Gun, and luckily I do. He still has 2 shields here, and comes in with a charge move ready from Meganium. I need to block this for sure, because it would definitely kill Relicanth. I go for the Aqua Tail, hoping to get a shield, and I do, which is great. I'm trying to get that Ancient Power. I go for the Ancient Power. He still has a shield left. Let's see if he blocks it or not. He blocks it. I immediately switch into Clang to tank the Frenzy Plant that's incoming. Hopefully it's a Frenzy Plant and not an Earthquake, but it's an Earthquake, and I get hit real hard, and I know that I gotta get this Meganium out of here as quick as I can. So now no shields, and the Skarmory Clang is back again. I am incredibly lucky enough to get this Thunderbolt off and do a chunk of damage to Skarmory. Now, can I tank this Sky Attack? I can. And hopefully I can just whittle down just enough and get to this Aqua Tail. I do. And I have to say that might have been a charge move priority tie, but either way, it was very good games, and we pulled that out from having a negative lead matchup. So for our final round here, we're going up against July Phoenix, who was an ace trainer back in Season 1. Great player, and I've sparred with him a few times. So looking at his team, he's got the Alolan Raticate, which is a tank unless it's going up against a fighting type. So I'm going to bring Machamp for that, and Machamp for the Probopass as well. But he has a lot of things that could delete my Machamp, like the Xatu and the Venomoth if I let it. So to cover that, to cover the Venomoth, I'll bring Lugia, which kind of is alright for that matchup. And I'm also going to bring Clang, because Clang will take care of the Poliwrath, Clang will take care of the Xatu and do well against Venomoth. So here we go, round 5, final round. I am 2-2 at this point, hoping to get a positive 3-2 after this. And we start out with a pretty good matchup here. P's got Mudshot, Legacy Poliwrath, which is going to do a little bit of damage, especially after these power-up punches. And note that this is after the nerfed power-up punch, which would have made a huge difference in this matchup if it had not been nerfed. I go for a Thunderbolt here. He blocks it knowing it'll do a lot of damage. He comes back probably with another power-up punch. I'm not sure what his second move might be, but I decided to block that to negate some damage because I know I should have blocked this one instead of the second one, knowing he'd get to another one, but whatever. I get another Thunderbolt off, which would do a lot of damage if it hits. He double shields the Poliwrath. So now I'm not too upset about this. I have one shield, he's down both shields, but I need to get this Poliwrath out of here. And Lugia with the X-Sensory will do pretty good damage to it, and I know that I do not need to shield any of these power-up punches at all. And now that he's done a couple of them, he launches an Ice Punch off, which I didn't see coming, and it does a ton of damage to Lugia, a quadruple boosted Ice Punch. But luckily I can get a Sky Attack off and finish off that Poliwrath. And I was trying to switch into Machamp, but I couldn't even do that. Now, I thought it was over here, but luckily I was able to get off this Rock Slide, and since he has no shields, it one-shot that Venomoth. And now I'm all set to do a Cross Chop and take out the Alolan Raticate, which is 2 times weak to fighting. And I even end with a shield, which is pretty awesome. So I got a little lucky there that I could get that Rock Slide off. But now we go to the next round, and I knew he liked his Sceptile, so I was banking on him leading Sceptile this time, and I called that correctly. He switches into Xatu, I switch into Clang. Probably going to be an Ominous Wind, he's probably trying to get the buff, and I'm really hoping he doesn't. I'm going to launch off these Thunderbolts. We're going to be both spamming charge attacks a lot here, because these are both spammy things, but he doesn't block it. Sacrificial swap, kind of. Not a sacrificial swap, but letting the switch die so he can come back in with something that will kill what I switched into. But still, even still, these Thunderbolts would definitely hurt Poliwrath anyway. So I'm just going to keep launching them off. And I debated shielding there, thinking I might be able to get to another one, but I just let it go down, and I know that I can come in here with the Lugia. And remembering the Ice Punch from last time, I still don't shield, and still get hit by an Ice Punch. At least it wasn't boosted as much as it was last time. I launch a Sky Attack, he's out of shields, I still have 2, so I'm probably going to end up blocking whatever comes in here. Another Ice Punch, luckily I did that. He does a beautiful switch, but unfortunately both of his last 2 Pokemon are weak to flying anyway, and that almost one-shots the Lugia. I switch immediately to the Poliwrath, know it's coming in, and launch this little Cross Chop off to take it out. So, GG's. So there you go, that was my run through the CT Open League Draft Tournament. And it was really a lot of fun using some of these Pokemon that you don't get to use a lot in Great League, and I ended up using all of my Pokemon on my team throughout this tournament, which sometimes you don't do in a lot of these monthly cups. I hope we get to do this again. There was a ton of talent in this cup. It was very hard, some of these matches, to come out on top, and I don't feel salty about losing any of them to any of these people because they're all very good players. Thanks to Kaiser for organizing it, and I'll put a link to the tournament in the description. Also, congrats to Steakfiend, who swept the whole tournament 5-0. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing or maybe liking the video. It would mean a lot to me. I'm going to try to put out more content like this, tournaments I participate in, and maybe tournaments that people in my community participate in. Either way, thanks a lot and have a good day.